Hey Cam, I just left looking at that Samurai for you. The guy I would have liked to have spent a little more time, but he acted kind of like he was in a hurry. His name is Troy. He said the seller is an older gentleman. I guess he's golfing right now, but I just think he doesn't really want to deal with anybody. And I kind of don't blame him. And this guy sounds like he's dealt with all the same struggles I've dealt with selling stuff on Craigslist before, and he was a little iffy with me and said, yeah, I didn't know if you were a real person or not and all that stuff. But anyways, it's about how it looks in the pictures on Craigslist. A lot of times they're not as good and can't really tell because the pictures are far away, but it's a lot more rust free than mine was. And mine didn't have a ton of rust, but there was a lot of little areas where I did have to fix little things here and there. But he said this was a Phoenix car, and I believe it. Really beefy, like as far as the rocker panels and stuff. Looks like he's put angle iron on it, and the suspension looks like it was done right. It was welded on. It doesn't, like on my Samurai, the front leaf springs were flat, which is not really ideal. That's like the cheap way of doing it, and these ones look correct. It is taller. It has the big, like 31.5-inch tires on it, but even though it has the bigger suspension setup and stuff, we were on some really nasty roads. They're just all torn up, and it was still rough, but it was like, it seems like that first inch or two was pretty plush. So probably a better ride than how mine was. Mine, it just kind of felt like you were just feeling the springs all the time, and it was almost like not bottoming out, but it was a little harsher. The one thing I know you would probably not like is the exhaust. It's real, it's annoying. It just, yeah. The only leak I saw was the power steering, and as soon as he saw me looking up under the front end, he kind of, I'll put a picture in right here where you can see it. He put like a little sock over it, and I said, well, if they're driving it back to Yuma, would it make it that far without, he says he thinks it's probably just an O-ring or something, but that would need to get fixed, and it may be something simple, probably a seal, but you would definitely want to change the muffler and get that fixed. That's really the only thing I saw that was, like, say, wrong with it. He said the gauges work. It didn't have a RPM gauge like mine did. I mean, it did have one, but it was an aftermarket one in one of the vents in the dash. So, yeah, let me think for a minute and I'll tell you other stuff. Give me a sec to think. He never even offered to let me drive it, so I wish I could have, like, I mean, there isn't even a freeway around here, but he did say, I asked him about, like, how fast, it would go and stuff, and he said 65, 70, and that's pretty good. I mean, for one of those, I told him about mine, how that thing was just scary at anything above like 55, but he said this guy, actually, the old man, takes it down to Mexico and like follows the racers. I don't know if like Baja 500 or whatever, what race he's talking about, but he takes it down there and gives them water and supplies and things like that. I think he's like a support team. He must know somebody that races down there or something, but it's got like beefed up radiator and fan because it had a leak a while back, and he thought it was not cooling well enough with the new motor, so they beefed it up, and it ended up just being a leak in the radiator hose or something that they took care of. But that's beefed up. The fuel pump is beefed up. Everything's really beefy on it. I mean, you probably would never need any of the stuff that it has. Like, I mean, you could rock crawl with this thing. It's pretty cool, but nothing that's gonna really hurt it in any way, I wouldn't imagine. I mean, it just makes it stronger. And I would say the fact that it has no rust on it is a really good selling point. I need to turn, yeah, I do. Like you were saying, so many of them are rusted out. Even mine, that wasn't that bad, had a lot more than this thing. This thing didn't really have any rust. The only rust I saw was on the rockers where they had added that piece of angle iron or whatever. I don't think they coated it, but it was like nothing rust. You could scrape it off in 2 seconds. So as far as that, for being 37 or however many years old it is, that's such a key thing, because that's the heart and soul of everything. I mean, you can change everything else with money, but I don't know if, I'm trying to think, if you were looking at it to buy it, if you would want it, or if you would want something more stock. I just don't know. I mean, I know you could always put much softer shocks and suspension. If you wanted that thing to ride really like soft, you could. It's got all the travel in the world, so you could get it to ride like a Cadillac if you wanted to. You might even be able to do like air shocks or something. So it has a little console in between the front seats, and it has that storage thing in the back. I don't know if you would want that, or if you would want like an extra seat in the back. To me, it's kind of nice to be able to lock, having a soft top, it's nice to be able to lock some stuff up if you have any valuables in there. That's nice. He had a lot of paperwork, a lot of documentation. He said the guy's really anal and does everything right. Kind of seemed like that. I mean, I'm really anal when it comes to wiring and the lights in the front by the mirrors. I didn't care for the way they did the wiring, but I mean, it's fine. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just, I would have done it different, but that's my like area where I'm super anal about stuff. So, I don't know. I wish you could see it, and I wish I would have been able to drive it. And I asked him, I said, so the clutch is fine? And he said, oh yeah. And I said, it's not like one of those heavy duty clutches, because that's a thing that people will oftentimes do. They'll put in a heavy duty clutch thinking that it's gonna last longer or whatever, and then all it does is makes it to where your leg shakes when you're sitting at a stoplight. But he said no, it's a soft. He's like, the guy's an old man. And I said, oh yeah, okay, so that's good. Anyways, I keep trying to think of stuff, so if I think of anything else, I'll make another video. One thing I was just thinking of, I guess we didn't really ever talk about it, but they make soft tops, they make hard tops, they make what's called tin tops. It's kind of like whatever your preference is on these things. This one is a soft top, and the soft top seems to be okay. It's been garage kept, and I believe him when he says that. We can just tell. But everything mechanically seems pretty sound. I just don't know if it's what you want. I definitely think if you got it and you didn't like it, you could probably sell that thing for a pretty sizable profit up in Idaho or anywhere in the Northwest, I would think, where just the fact that it's rust free. And I think he said he had about $17,000 into it, and that's probably just on top of the vehicle itself, I would imagine, with all those receipts and stuff. And I saw receipts in there. I mean, he had a folder with, a stack like that thick of receipts. So I saw stuff in there for like axle seals and fuel injectors. I think he's paid $1,400 for 4 freaking fuel injectors, which is crazy. I think that's crazy. I think it was $400 labor and then like $300 a piece for the injectors, which, I mean, you can just throw them in a machine and have them cleaned. But anyway, I don't think he like spared a lot of expense on things. So as far as mechanically, I think he kept it up pretty good, especially taking it to Mexico and stuff. The true mileage, I have no idea. I should have. I asked that in my original email, but they never responded to it. So I think when he put 30,000 miles on the ad, that must just be, he thinks this motor has between 25 and 30,000 miles on it, and he said it was totally gone through when it was, before it was like put in. So they took the donor vehicle or whatever, they pulled the motor out and then went through it, and, which is pretty common to do, just to freshen it up. And so it's basically like a new engine when it goes in. seems like it runs well, and I don't know. I just it's far from stock. Stock, they honestly feel like they're. I would never want to take a stock one out like 4-wheel driving with anything very serious, because it just seems like you'd bend everything. They're not very beefy from the factory, but this one's pretty solid. So I know that you wouldn't be doing stuff like that, but probably, but you would have the ability if you wanted to, you could, and that probably only helps the resale value, I would imagine. But that was where I was going with this. I would think even if you bought it and you decided, maybe you change the muffler so it's quieter, and you did a couple things to where it was more your style, and then in a year or so you decided you want something different, I can almost guarantee you'd easily make your money back, and then quite a bit, I would imagine. So I don't think you can lose on it financially. It's just a matter of whether or not you want that specific one. And I know they're older and rare, but they do come up for sale. So if you want one that's more stock or whatever, you can just wait around for a little while and find something that has less stuff done to it. Oh my gosh, this traffic is just ridiculous. I'm doing 30 miles an hour on I-10. But anyway, yeah, it's a win-win, but that would suck to go through all the trouble of having your niece and nephew get it for you not to like it. So I guess you just need to decide if something like that is your style. And he did say the guy wants cash, so I don't know how you would swing that. You'd have to have your niece and nephew give him cash on delivery or whatever. But and I kind of get where he's coming from with that. That's what I told the guy that bought mine. I don't like the government knowing. These banks, whenever you buy and sell anything nowadays, they want to know if it's more than like $5 or $6 grand. They want to know what it is, where it came from. When my brother sold his last car to a doctor, the doctor and his wife had to go into the bank and they asked what it's for and all this stuff. So that's why I like cash. They don't need to know what you're spending your money on. But anyways, that's what he said he wants. So there's that to consider. But anyway, I'll just put the videos that I took in here and let you see it. I don't know if it's going to be any better than the pictures that he had on Craigslist, but I wished I could have spent some more time with it, but he acted like he was kind of in a hurry. And did you get everything you wanted? Are you good? I was like, I guess. So anyway, but yeah, sorry I don't have a better, yeah, you should definitely buy this thing. It's just, it's rust free and it's sound and it runs, and I couldn't drive it, but I think it's probably a lot better than mine would have been for like daily driving, especially on the highway. But anyways,
she's gonna want to.
Yeah.
I'll leave the hood down right now, and then you can take pictures of it.
Looks like it's got a reinforced fuel tank.
And that's the reverse light right there, the back.
Oh, okay. This
so
is
when you're out four-wheeling.
Gotcha.
At night.
It's got the gear reduction system on it to compensate for the bigger tires. The leaf springs don't droop like my Samurai did. Not really any rust, hardly. That's like angle iron or something. That's really beefy. This rocker. It's got 1-inch spacers. I think that's the. I'm not sure what that is.
There's no leaks, dude.
Nice winch. Bunch of LED lights. Beefed up suspension. Knuckles aren't leaking. Small leak on the power steering pump, but that's the only leak so far. No leaks really on the engine. Upgraded cooling. You said upgraded cooling fan and radiator, you said?
Yep,
I think.
all up in the hood.
Okay. It's gonna pop the hood for us. And there's, you said 25 or 30,000 on this motor, and it was rebuilt when they put it in.
Yeah, it has like, I would say like 25 to 30,000 on it.
Okay.
And it had a valve job, and you know, like everything was done.
New master. Power steering, that's probably nice with the bigger tires.
Yes.
And he said the gauges still work. So I'm guessing it has the stock harness probably integrated into it. Yeah, that's a lot of work to do something like that.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
And I guess it crawls really nice.
I bet. It's got a roll cage.
Full roll cage.
A lot of money in this thing. Doors are nice. Nice little console. Mine didn't have that. GK Grant steering wheel. Really nice seats. And it's got a locking.
Can you open that?
If you don't mind, I know it's kind of a pain to take these back off. I got one hand. It's got a pretty cool aluminum storage thing back here that locks. That's really neat. That's actually quite a bit of storage.
It has a class 3-inch.
You could put your, yeah, real beefy bumper too. You could put your tools in here. That's really nice. And how does that lock? With it, does it lock with a key or?
Right here with the key.
Okay.
And then these actually, this covers, these that cover.
Okay. Top looks pretty nice. It's been garaged. That's why he's getting rid of it, because he got a new car and now he doesn't have the garage space, doesn't want to keep it outside. Don't blame him. But
oh, and as exhaust too.
she probably wouldn't care for that, but she could always change
Yeah,
that.
but you could switch.
This doesn't have a tack, does it? Right here. I know it's got one right here, but
Is yours?
it did right here, and then it had the fuel in the other in the middle there. Does it usually stay pretty cool too?
Oh yeah. She'll want to change. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's about the exhaust.
Yeah, I'm sure she would.
But all the gauges are working.
Anyways, Kim, one of the other things I thought of, actually the guy mentioned, because I said, you know, that your niece and nephew would, or niece and her husband would have to probably come pick it up and maybe either drive it back to Yuma or trailer it. And he said he's going to sell it with that tow bar. So I've never personally done that, but with that tow bar that just hooks to the front of it, he had a picture of it. It's that little V-shaped thing. So that hooks to it, and then the other end of it just hooks to the ball on the tow vehicle. So you just throw the transfer case in neutral and you can actually flat tow it. So, I mean, I don't know. If it was me, like I said, I've never done that, so I'd probably feel more comfortable with it, just throwing it on a trailer, but you would be able to do that with this one, and that also is a good selling point too, because a lot of people with RVs will tow like Jeep Wranglers behind them. There's not that many vehicles that you can actually flat tow. You have to be able to, they have to be made to where you can like put the transfer case either in neutral and tow it without damaging it, or you gotta like drop the drive shafts and stuff like that, which is why there's only a handful of vehicles. Like this Jeep that I'm driving right now, you can do it, but you have to put like the transfer case in park and the regular transmission in neutral. I think it's something really goofy, but you can flat tow it. Anyway, that's an extra bonus feature because you can't do that with many vehicles. And so RVers, specifically like people that drive motorhomes, they want to be able to go get where they're going, park the motorhome, and then have something to be able to drive around. So they either have to tow a car on a trailer or have a one that's capable of being flat towed like this one. So that's another selling point. So anyways, like I said, I know you wouldn't have a problem selling it. I don't know why they're not going very quick here in Tucson right now, but I guess that's a good thing for you. But yeah, if you need, like I said, to fix the power steering. He said it doesn't leak very much. I don't know whether or not to believe that with that little rag on there, but I said, so you think it would make it back to Yuma if they decided to drive it? He said, oh yeah, and even if it ran out of fluid or whatever, power steering, I've had my power steering pump go out on this Jeep Grand Cherokee that I'm driving. I drove it all the way from Pine Top, Arizona back with no power steering, so it's just a little harder to turn. And Samurais don't normally have power steering anyway, so that wouldn't be a big deal, but yeah, you'd need to fix that. You'd need to change the muffler. I would assume you'd want it quieter. I would. It's pretty annoying the way it is. Anyway, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's all I can really think of. So, yeah, just I'll give you the guy's number, or put it here or something. I'll figure out a way to get you Troy's number so you can get a hold of him if you do want it, and let him know. I'm sure you could give him a deposit or whatever to hold it, and then whenever your family could get cash to him or whatever. But so anyways, yeah, that's all I can think of. Alrighty, take care.